All right, now it gets really fun in the Leagues Cup. It's time to really turn our attention to the knockout stages. It kind of becomes August madness, if you will. And here we are in the Leagues Cup. Hello, Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm. This is episode 25. Happy 25th for LAFC Plus, Mario.
Oh, yeah. Let's turn up that intensity, Dave. It's Leagues Cup 2024. It's the knockout stages. Win or go home, whatever you got to say here. It's a loss, and you're watching it from the couch like all the other fans. So let's turn it up here. It's Leagues Cup 2024. I'm loving it, Dave.
Absolutely. Officially, when we're doing this, still got one game going, or one game that will go on, but we're into the knockout stages, basically. Some very interesting stuff has been going on. We want to start with, of course, LAFC ready to take on Austin FC. As we do this, it'll be Wednesday evening for that match at BMO Stadium. If you're wondering, like, hey, Austin won their group, LAFC finished second, why does Austin not get to host? They do something in this tournament, Mario, which I actually like. It's about the seeding when you first get into the tournament. And I do like that because what it does, some people say, well, Austin won both of their matches. Yeah, they played great. Holy cow, they beat Monterrey and Pumas. I mean,
Pumas,
you can't. Tough. Don't get me wrong. But in principle, in theory, I mean, you could, you don't know how strong groups really are. I mean, I know it's done by seeding in terms of the groups too, but if you're going to seed the groups that way, if you're going to do it by seeding, I like the fact that the home field stays with the higher seeds as you go along, in this tournament, because, for instance, I'm not saying this happened, but let's say Austin, right? Let's say Pumas and Monterrey either had a boatload of injuries or didn't even want to play in the tournament. Let's say they just gave up and just sent out like their C teams, their D team, all the reserves, the number 499s, the 700. And then Austin, wins both matches. Is that really a fair representation? I know that they had to go out and still win. Kudos. But I like that with only 2 games in a group stage, it's really about your seeding going into the tournament. That actually means MLS regular season and Liga MX regular Clausura and Apertura means something more for this tournament. I love that.
It's so true. I do love that too. And for a team like LAFC, who is so dominant at home, that's when that comes into play as well,
But even if it didn't help us, right? And it may not in the end. Maybe we'll run into somebody who's a higher seed that they'll get the home field, whatever. And that just might be the way you go out in a tournament. If you can't win on the road, you're going to have to beat somebody, generally speaking, a tough team on the road somewhere along the way, to win a tournament like this. If you can't do it, well, you don't deserve to win the whole thing. That's just the way it goes. But yeah, I love this. And it's a good matchup. Austin's playing great. As we said, they just took down 2 giants, really, in their group.
Those games were at home. And they're a little bit different on the road. They're a lot different on the road. And especially when you go into a place like BMO Stadium, where LAFC is dominant, and you go into that atmosphere with the 32-52, and then possibly the big question is are we going to see the debut of Olivier Giroud in black and gold for the very, very first time? So
we certainly will get to that.
It's very interesting on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it will. I think there's going to be a lot of buzz about that. We'll get to his official arrival in Los Angeles coming up. I do want to go back to that Vancouver game. Of course, Vancouver then ended up taking on Tijuana and taking care of business in that game. So Vancouver wins the group after LAFC beat Tijuana. We know that in the first match very handily. Then the game against Vancouver in 15, 20 minutes, up 2-0 on great goals, 2 great goals.
Yeah.
But LAFC, they left it late, but they did show that fight back, Mario. It wasn't a great night. Didn't play well. I don't think a lot of guys played particularly well. It was a tough game, and they didn't play terrible by any means. Again, world-class goals for Vancouver.
Yeah.
But then LAFC settled in, and they left it late, but they get the 2 goals to tie. I mean, one of them virtually on the last kick of the match, or last header of the match almost. They do lose in the PKs, so they don't win the group because of that.
Right.
But I love the fight back, I got to say. You could have easily, with beating Tijuana 3-0, you think you're probably in decent shape, even if you lose to Vancouver, right? So as long as it doesn't get to be a blowout, or you maybe only lose that 2-0, or you get a goal back late. So I'm not saying that LAFC weren't trying to fight or anything, but you could have seen how a team would just be like, oh, this is not our night. It's not going well. We're hitting posts. We're just not, and make sure guys get off the pitch early, don't get injured or get some rest, whatever. No, they just kept fighting. And I love it.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to need
when LAFC was down 2-0 at the half, we both kind of wanted to see the response. How would LAFC respond? It was halftime, so there was still a lot of time left. What type of fight were we going to get from the black and gold coming back from a 2-goal deficit? And it definitely did show a lot of that grit. A lot of what we wanted to see, they showed us. This team, they don't give up. They stay strong and they fight to the very, very last whistle. They don't come back very often, right? They don't have that opportunity to have to come back very often. They don't need to. So it was good experience for the black and gold LAFC to come back from that. And in Bogusz, I think he was a very, very frustrated dude that night because he should have had 2 goals. Yeah. But yeah, they saved him on a couple of chances there that he had. He thought they were in. I thought they were in. But another guy, Kai Kamara, he's been very important for this LAFC team this year. I mean, he's such a killer with those headers from the set pieces, and it's been a great option for LAFC. And I think that a veteran like him is also going to show up in the postseason. He's going to show up in big matches whenever he might be flying under the radar, because there's so many options for LAFC in that dangerous attack. Kai Kamara, I think he's going to continue to have big goals like he did in that game against Vancouver.
Well, referencing the postseason with Kai is kind of why I like this game too, and the fight back, not just with Kai Kamara, but the postseason, right? You're playing tough teams. You're even in the rest of this tournament. You're into the knockout stage. It's a knockout stage. And I know that was a group game with Vancouver, but the fight back is just invaluable experience for going into these knockout games in this tournament, knockout games in the playoffs. Essentially, I know the first round is the 2 games, but you have to fight back at times. Like, you're playing good teams. You're not just going to go out and win 3-0 every night or have an easy ride to a 2-0 game or a 4-1 win. That stuff dries up in good teams when you're playing them. And we saw how tough it was to win the 2022 MLS Cup throughout. And honestly, LAFC was the best team. They were supporters. Now, Philadelphia was very good that year. Don't get me wrong. And they were right there. Could have won it themselves. But that's the kind of thing. You're not just going to walk, breeze your way through. This is not the Premier League with 3 good teams. Mm-hmm. This is not Germany with 2 good teams or Spain with 2 good teams. Like, you have to battle. Things are much closer in this league or this tournament because there's no difference between Liga MX, as we can see, and MLS anymore. So, Mario, you got to beat good teams. You're going to have to battle back at some point. You're going to be down, right? It might not be 2-0 every time, but you're going to be down 1-0 early or 1-0 late, and you just got to find that way to do it. And LAFC, they just found a way to do it. And I love that. Now, you lose in PKs, okay, whatever. That's a whole different coin flip, whatever that's going to happen. But just to fight back to get that point, make sure you're in the next round, right? Mm-hmm. Just you're going, and now you had the chance to really enjoy that rest in a sense, really take advantage of it because you knew you were into the next round. You don't have to wait for that 3rd group game to find out, right? So great work, really. It's a loss technically, but it's a draw in my opinion, and it's a fight back draw, and you got to have it.
And that's what I love about this Leagues Cup is it prepares you for that postseason because you're in these type of atmospheres where they're do or die, or you got to advance to the next stage. So that's what I love about this Leagues Cup. And also what I love about this Leagues Cup is we do get the chance to see players that arrive to their teams in the summer window, maybe make their debut like we did last year with Messi and possibly some players this year as well. We have some players coming into LAFC. Will we see their debuts in the Leagues Cup for the first time with the black and gold? I love that. So there's many things that I love about Leagues Cup. So I'm all for it. I'm all in.
And, I hate to bring it back to this, but before we move on, I do want to bring it back to this because there was a lot of naysayers, and a lot of it came from the way LAFC, the way MLS decided to handle the Open Cup, right? It was a big social media, American soccer fans on social media, went nuts. Okay, I love the Open Cup. You love the U.S. Open Cup. We are still in it.
I do.
We want to win the stinking thing. I love it. I've been going to Open Cup matches since before the people who are whining about the tournament on social media and hating the Leagues Cup because of the Open Cup were even born. Okay? I've seen it. I've lived it. There is no comparison right now. Already. I'm sorry. The Leagues Cup blows it out of the water. Now, maybe that's a lot of Mexican team fans in the United States. Well, don't disparage them. They want to see their teams. Fine. Go fill up stadiums and watch Toluca if you're a Toluca. That's great. Why? There's this little subset. I hate the Leagues Cup. Down with the okay, that's your opinion, whatever, fine. But you cannot compare the two anymore. Like the Open Cup, even people who love MLS teams, right? They're season ticket, they don't go. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. They don't know what it is, Dave.
Yeah, they just don't go enough. Now, you can blame other people for that. You can blame certain, whatever. That's the blame game. The tournament's been around over 100 years. It should be bigger. I agree. I love it. I wish it was the biggest. I wish it was the biggest thing in all of American sports. That would be awesome because it would be soccer at that level. I wish, but that's not reality. And already the Leagues Cup just blows it out of the water in terms of attendance and people are saying, honestly, a lot of them who hate the Leagues Cup were trying to get in with the Liga MX teams don't really care. That was the next thing, right? They're here playing their scrubs. You see this on social media. First of all, avoid soccer social media if you can, for the most part. A lot of it's great, honestly. A lot of it is great. And there was a time in America that was the only way you could follow soccer. I'm talking 30 years ago, right? Was the advent of the internet and big soccer, and people know what I'm talking. Like we needed it, not just wanted it. We needed it. But there's a tiny subset that just make it miserable, and you know who you're. All I would wish for you is just relax and enjoy it if you can. I mean, what do you look? I want the U.S. Open Cup to be bigger. Hopefully, it will be again. Right? Hopefully, it continues to grow. But Leagues Cup is a hit, a palpable hit. Right? If we're putting in Hollywood terms, it's a hit. It is a blockbuster. It just is. And you can't deny that, Mario. You're just hating if you deny that at this point. It's a great tournament already. That's my rant. I don't care. I had to bring it up. And
let it out, Davey. It's all good. That's what we're here for. But it makes
me feel good because I'm so glad the Leagues Cup is what it is because it's so much fun. And like Mario even just alluded to, it's great experience. It's great games, great goals. Some, these Liga MX teams don't give me that they don't care. Monterrey just fired their coach after getting, grouped. So come on. There are consequences. There are big prizes, as we have already outlined. It's phenomenal. And hopefully,
there's big clubs, there's big stars. I mean, and this is we're saying this even with Messi being injured and not in it this time. And he could possibly come, at some point. But LAFC has stars. Liga MX has a bunch of stars. The clubs with Liga MX, the clubs with MLS. There's a lot of star power in this tournament. And the rivalry is there. The rivalry between U.S. soccer and Mexican soccer. So there's that rivalry already built in. So I love it. I love the tournament.
No question. Yeah. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Hopefully, like we said, we don't know for sure yet. Honestly, we don't officially know. Mario and I don't know. If you're wondering, maybe Olivier Giroud gets that first appearance. We don't know, but we'll see. Hopefully that's the case. That would be a star, certainly playing in Leagues Cup if that does happen. LAFC officially unveiled Olivier Giroud late last week as a new member of the Black and Gold. Of course, the signing was already a while ago. We knew it was coming down. It just had to wait for the transfer window. And also they signed Lewis O'Brien, a midfielder, for some depth on loan. Now, going forward, Mario, let's talk a little bit about the Giroud stuff. You were there. I was unable to attend that overall get-together and everything. Break it down for us. Exciting, really.
What an exciting day, and credit goes to those owners and everybody in the front office and guys like Larry Freedman. It's not easy to continuously bring in these world-class players to any professional team. I'm talking about any sport. It's not easy to keep on bringing stars to your team, and it takes a lot, from top to bottom. Let's just be real. It takes a lot from the front office ownership to invest And we know what invest dollars into the team because they know that you put money in, you put dollars in, dollars are going to come back out of it. And then you get those same dollars, you put money back into it again, and you're just bringing stars. And, it's just, that works. That's the formula that works. And Larry Freedman, he talked to me before I talked to Olivier, I was talking to Larry Freedman, and he talked to me about bringing stars to LAFC and bringing stars to Hollywood. Smiles on everybody's faces today, especially yours.
Oh, yeah.
How happy are you bringing another World Cup champion to the black and gold?
Yeah, no, this is an incredible moment for our club. You think about the progression of players that we've attracted to the club. You start with a Carlos Vela, who, Mexican national team star, came here and delivered beyond our expectations. Then you get a Giorgio Chiellini, you get a Gareth Bale. Together they help us win a cup with Carlos.
Yeah.
Then you get Hugo, and now to have a player of this stature is just an incredible day for the club, and can't wait to see him on the field with Denis and Maddie and everybody else, and to see what kind of magic we can make.
Oh yeah. You mentioned all those names, the global icons of Giorgio and Gareth and Carlos and Hugo. Why are these global icons choosing LAFC?
Look, I think that those of us who live here maybe take it for granted. You wake up every day, the sun shines, you've got the beach, you've got the Hollywood Hills, you've got the Santa Monica Mountains, you've got palm trees, movie stars, the whole thing. And I think we have to take a step back and remember that all over the world, people are watching the movies and the television shows and, the cultural relevance of Hollywood and Los Angeles. And from afar, you can't help but want to be a part of it. And our league is growing, our league is advancing. Apple TV, Messi, all of the national team players from around the world that are now playing in our league. And to me, it feels like it's an irresistible draw. And, he said it, Giorgio said it, Bale said it, and Carlos chose us. And people are choosing LAFC because of where we are and now what we built. Carlos took a leap of faith that we were going to do what we said we would do.
Yeah.
And now other folks like Olivier can see that we are true to our word. We're building a world-class club. We've got a world-class training facility, our performance center on the campus at Cal State LA. We built a stadium that I always say, pound for pound, kind of the Manny Pacquiao venues, and what the 32-52 bring to that experience. Who wouldn't want to play there?
Now, with all these global stars that do choose LAFC, it also has to take a financial impact on the club. Am I right about that?
Sure, of course. And look, our ownership group led by Larry Berg, Bennett Rosenthal, Brandon Beck, our executive chairman, Peter Guber, they recognize that LA, as Peter Guber says, is a city of stars. Whether, go back, Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale on the Dodgers, Magic Johnson, Kareem, the best of the best have played here.
Yep.
And the expectation from the fan base is winning. And in order to win, you need the best players, and you need a coach like Steve who can bring them together as a team. And it's just truly special. And we are lucky that we have an ownership group that is all about putting it all back into the club. If it, dollars come in, dollars go back into the club. It is all about building this club for the long haul, for long-term success. And it's not about a profit today or a profit tomorrow. It's really about giving back to this community and being true to our word.
It's just exciting to hear, honestly. I know it's like, of course, we've known Olivier Giroud's coming, but just to hear Larry Freedman talk about it, and just can't wait. Can't wait to call the goals for the guy. I can't wait to call the assists for Olivier Giroud, because that's what he brings as well. And you got a chance to talk to him too, obviously, on that day. So let's bring that as well, Mario. Set that up.
So as we were talking with Larry, we get a special guest. We get a special surprise guest. Just walk right in on the interview, and here that is. It's a city of stars and a city of champions, of course.
Come on in.
It's okay. You can jump on in.
Come on.
Olivier joins us. Olivier, welcome. We're just speaking about you. Welcome to the club. What was different about LAFC when you were about to choose your next chapter in your career? What was different about LAFC?
Well, the experience of life in this city. I think as a European, people would love to live in LA or New York, maybe Miami, and LA for a family man like me, I think is perfect. And we loved living 9 years in London. And I believe LA is a bit like London, but with the sun. So
LA is.
It's what I just told you.
Yeah, exactly. You also talked about this is the city of stars and this is the city of champions. Of course, now that you're with LAFC and you hear this is the city of champions, does that add any added pressure to you?
No, I get used to deal with the pressure, and I need it. I like it to play at my best level. When you play the 7 competition with your country and so many games like Champions League games, football, and you have to be ready for that. And it's something I want to deal with, so I'm not scared, I'm more excited.
What does your good friend Hugo Lloris say about playing at the BMO Stadium in front of the 3252 and the supporters?
No, the 3252 are amazing. I've seen many videos of them. I've been told they are the best, the most passionate and best fans in the league, and I can confirm today I've seen them. Nice, warm welcome. So yeah, looking forward also to play the stadium, the BMO Stadium, and to see all the fans and to keep going the good work the team so far.
Besides looking forward to getting out there on the pitch, what else are you looking forward to doing while living out here in LA now, your new home?
I need to go to see NBA, baseball,
of course.
NHL, NFL. That's the difference with all the big cities. There's so many stars, as you said, so many champions, artists. It's a massive city, so yeah, the weak point is because it's massive, it's busy, and the traffic is crazy. But so many good points. So I didn't think twice when I had the opportunity to come.
Love it.
Yeah.
That
You know what stood out to me though, Dave, from Olivier was when I saw him in person, how massive he is as a person, just physically. He is so tall. I mean, everybody skies over me because I'm a pretty short dude, but he is really tall, even compared to his teammates.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to Denis, Aaron Long, when you see him standing side by side, he's huge. Hugo Lloris is a tall keeper, right? And he's even taller than Hugo Lloris and a lot wider. Like,
yeah, he's a big man.
He's a beast. I mean, he's
point.
like up there with Gareth Bale, Olivia. These guys are special.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. Yeah, because we think of obviously like a Lionel Messi, diminutive, still the best ever. It's not a game where you have to be big. In fact, sometimes in a way, soccer can, people talk about, if only LeBron James had played soccer, I'd be like, yeah, he'd be clunky and awkward, quite frankly. I don't care how good of an athlete he is. He's 6'9", it's not the same. So, but yeah, you're right. He's a beast of a man in terms of just physically too. And to get that kind of skill going.
Yes. To move around and have the touch on the ball like that. And just to have that body control like that, to be as big as that. It's very impressive.
So what does he do for LAFC? This is like, we talked a little bit about it coming in. I didn't want to dive too deep into it until it really, not because I was worried the deal wouldn't get done or anything like that, but it's not really worth taking too much of the time as the season's going on, because we know Olivier is kind of in the distance. Well, he's here. What does he really do? I point to Kai Kamara. Man, this is, again, exactly. Kai, he's playing great. Kai is playing great. This guy's a legend. 39 years old. He's gotten it done all his career. Second leading scorer in MLS history. But Olivier Giroud is just a different level, right? Like he's like a world-class player, that we expect more out of than most players in MLS, right? He's just a great talent. And if you see what Kai Kamara is doing, playing so well, and that's because Kai works his butt off. Olivier Giroud has always worked his butt off. Like, he's never given less than 100% every time he steps out there, it seems. I mean, and that's going through big clubs, whether he was a superstar or just a guy who's on the, just trying to just win a World Cup, no matter how you do it with France, loaded with world-class players. He always gives his best, his 100%. So Kai's done that and has performed well. And the system is starting to come around that position even. Again, Denis Bouanga and Oliveira and Matty Bogusz, they're going to feed, no doubt. They're too good not to.
They're going to benefit. They're going to benefit for sure.
Oh my gosh, Mario, this guy can do everything. And it's just going to be, sometimes you think about it and you're like, well, he's got to settle in and everything. Of course, maybe it takes a little while to settle in with your teammates. But man, if he starts clicking, the sky is the absolute limit. I know it's a cliche, but who's going to stop this team?
You can't say enough about that experience that he brings, right? Just playing on the ultimate biggest stages in all of sports, really, not just soccer, because the World Cup stage is that big. And to be able to win it on that stage, to go through that experience, and then come to MLS, where LAFC has a very talented team, competitive team, a real contender, and to add somebody like that to a team like that, that's dangerous. That's dangerous, and that can add a lot for LAFC.
That's a very great point. And I loved your question with Larry and talking a little bit with Olivia about it, about the stars coming here, right? Okay, City of Champions. It also goes to MLS teams, not just City of Champions being LA, of course, the other sports. When you bring these guys in to make the true impact with the other players coming later, and they're in their mind, you got to win.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's all well and good with all this other stuff. Guess what? They all have money. They can live wherever they want. Get any city in the world, especially in the United States and other big countries, you got money, you'll live fine. It really doesn't matter what city you choose on a certain level. Now, if you're talking about weather conditions, and there's obviously factors. But when you have money, in the sense of what these gentlemen have earned in their careers, they don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, right? You can go have a great life anywhere in that sense. So yes, LA is amazing. You still got to win to draw people.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The whole Zlatan thing in the Galaxy did not help the Galaxy. I don't care what anyone tells me. They couldn't win.
Right.
Even with the guy scoring 30 goals a year like Zlatan did, or almost 30 every year. He was incredible. Let's face it. He was. Now, Vela was better, thankfully, as it turned out, during those years. And, the Galaxy couldn't put anything together because they didn't have a good enough team. You got to win.
Yeah.
To draw to draw Gareth Bale and Chiellini, to get the Giroud after that and Hugo Lloris. You got to win with those first guys.
And it is impressive, Dave, to me, to bring in all of these stars. Like you mentioned, those names right there, those are world-class, top-level players. And for them to want to come to LAFC is so impressive. And I can't say enough about that, because it's almost like shocking, because there's a lot of teams in MLS, a lot of teams with history. There's a team in the same, in California with a lot of history. And they're choosing LAFC. So what does that say about the club and where they're going, and just the ambitions and the want to win? And it says a lot about LAFC for these guys. For Olivier to choose LAFC, it says a lot.
A lot of people who listen to this podcast are part of the plus, right? They like to hear us talk about MLS. So, LAFC fans are going to know what we're talking about. We live it. We're LAFC, right? We work for LAFC. But the people who are in the plus category of this podcast that don't really know LAFC that well, trust us. That's why people come to this club. It is as good a club. I've been around so many sports teams in my career, 35 plus years, and nothing compares to it from day one, frankly. And the 3252 is a big part of that, no doubt. The fans of this club, not just the 3252, even the fans as well, being driven and led by the 3252 is a massive part of that. There's no other experience like it in LA. And LA, come on, it's winners. That's right. As you guys say, it's the city of champs for a reason. So, it is a massive part of this, is the club itself drawing these guys, no doubt. We do want to talk about the rest of MLS, around the rest of MLS in this tournament, Mario. great showing so far for MLS, but we're a long way to go, right? Because that can all fall apart. It doesn't matter really the group stage, let's face it. Now it does in the sense of you want to get through the group stage. You got to still perform. And MLS did very well. 13 wins, 7 losses, 11 draws. That's decent. Wasn't like earth-shattering. I don't think Liga MX sides were embarrassed for the most. I mean, by any means. Now, there's a few that underperformed. But, I'm not expecting some of these, teams to do that great. And some of them actually stepped up. Juarez getting out of the group, right? I mean, that's, a team that maybe... Yes. Did I expect Querétaro to do well? No. Well, they stink. So, okay, they're going home. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
But Santos Laguna gets out of the group without scoring a goal. All they did was win a penalty shootout because, somehow they got through that group. They're terrible, but they're through, and it's a knockout tournament now. Maybe they get hot. So there was no embarrassment for anybody or anything like that. But I do like the way MLS started. But here's the thing, Mario. The thing I want to remind people about this tournament is, let's not get on a high horse for MLS is so much better than this, or Liga MX is so worse, or, Liga MX doesn't care. Don't give me all that. You still got to go out and beat, in a knockout format, Club America, Pachuca.
Yeah.
You got to go out and beat these other great teams, frankly. Cruz Azul, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go out and actually beat these teams in a knockout stage. Good luck.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's why this tournament's a long way from over. I mean, it's just getting going, realistically.
Yeah, and when these Mexican teams, when they do go to make rotations in the second half or put subs in, it's like these guys are just as good or even better.
Sure.
That's guys that are coming in off of the bench. So it's very tough for MLS teams to deal with that part. I think that is the part where these MLS teams, they can kind of see the difference between the two leagues is when they do those subs, I
don't even think it's between the two leagues again. And I know what you mean, but I think it's specifically America and Cruz Azul and Atlas.
Yeah, specifically, you're right.
It's
not every team.
No, I mean, but it's the toughest, it's those teams that you're like, how are we going to knock this team out of this tournament? And that's when, even as an LAFC, fan and the broadcaster of their matches, I'm keeping an eye on teams. I have no problem with America having to play Atlas in the first game of the knockouts. Good. Good. One of them's gone. That's fine by me, Just like, MLS, if you don't really want Austin to be playing LAFC necessarily, like there's two teams that are very good and have a chance to do well, or maybe, Austin is hot or whatever. So I get that, but how are you going to knock these teams out? That's why two of my favorite matchups in this round of 32, if we're looking at it, is America versus Atlas. Two teams that can win this tournament, in my opinion, easily, and Orlando and Cruz Azul. I love that matchup too. I think Orlando's really started to turn a corner.
Yeah.
We saw them early in the season when they were struggling, no doubt. They weren't good. They're figuring things out still.
But we always knew that they had quality players. We always knew that they were going to get it together, and they started to. Yeah, now you kind of see that a little bit, and you see how they could be dangerous in a tournament like this.
And the reason I like this matchup is to see where they really are, because Cruz Azul, you don't play well, you're going to get run over. I mean, if they have a bad night, it's over. Yeah. So,
I mean, look at Monterrey. Monterrey was one of the higher seeds in Liga MX coming into this Leagues Cup, and they're out already. And that's a big Mexican club right there.
And I got to be honest with you, they deserve to go. They were not. They did not play well. And, give credit to Austin. I mean, they're down a man against Monterrey. I mean, usually that would end 7-1. That's an LAFC Juarez last year game type of thing. You go down a man to Monterrey usually in the 30th minute or whatever. You're losing that game 8-2. I mean, at best, even if you get hot and score a couple goals, like that is over normally. So, full credit to Austin But Monterrey deserved to go home. There's no doubt about it. And then, of course,
Austin deserved that first place finish in their group. I mean, with the wins over Pumas 3-2 and then that Monterrey victory, the clean sheet victory, they got momentum coming into the game against LAFC at BMO Stadium for sure.
Yeah. And if you look at the Leagues Cup in general, when two teams get out of a 3-team group, normally it's not hard to get out, right? You have a 67%, not generally, but just – it's actually easy to get out of your group, generally speaking.
It's
with
tricky though,
that,
because it's only 2 games. It's not 3
I know,
games. Like,
but that's what I
you know
mean.
It's
Even
very
with that,
tricky.
I looked at Austin, Mario, like they almost have no chance. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
As easy, quote unquote, as it should be to get out of your group, or at least you have a good shot, even if you're a poor team. I thought they've got no chance of this group, really. I mean, this is just this is a walk for Pumas and Monterrey to walk over those, Austin, and then just play the final match to see who wins the group, kind of thing. Like, because Pumas and Monterrey are just going to destroy Austin, and quite the contrary. So this is no easy matchup for LAFC, to be sure, because Austin feeling very good about themselves, and why wouldn't you after beating those 2 teams? Because Pumas is still moving on. Pumas can still win this whole stinking thing, even without that, even with, playing a little bit poorly in the group stage. Speaking of which, Austin and LAFC, of course, if you're listening to this at a certain time or watching this on YouTube, Wednesday night, big game. That is the knockout game. That is the night knockout start. Pre-game, 7 o'clock on ESPN LA 710, ESPN LA app. What do we expect, Mario? You mentioned it earlier in the show, and I think that's the key to this if we're previewing this. Austin's not great on the road.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they've had those 2 big wins against those Liga MX sides, but those were in Austin, and whenever you come into BMO Stadium, it's the roughest atmosphere. A lot of players from opposing teams. I remember at the beginning of the year, MLS put out like a video with like pretty much all the top players from all the different teams. It was like a media day thing that they did at the beginning of the year, and they asked about the toughest atmosphere to play in. Everybody said LAFC. Yeah, and rightfully so. We experience it every single game that we do there. You see the dominant record from LAFC. So for Austin to come into BMO Stadium is going to be a tough hill to climb for them.
Yeah, I would agree. And again, great wins, no doubt about it. But they were hanging on by the skin of their teeth in a lot of ways on some, they got pummeled by in the statistics, if you will. But that again. That doesn't really matter if the final score goes your way. You deserve it, right? So I'm not taking anything away from Austin, but this is not a team that's like got their main man back from injury and now they're flying high again. Like they're having a good run. They're hot. They're going to feel confident. You got to take care of business. But this is not a team on LAFC's level. That doesn't mean they can't beat us on one night. We've seen it. They've given us fits before. But if LAFC come out and play their match, play their game, play well. Yeah, I believe in their success and ultimately against Austin FC. But you got to go out and do it. And in these knockout stages, I love the fact we got some rest. Certainly a factor coming into this tournament was how busy the schedule had been, So I love the fact LAFC got some rest coming into this match. That's going to be crucial too.
And if you're an Austin FC fan, you got to think, man, this has been a tough draw for us, right? You're playing against Pumas, Monterrey, and then you got to face LAFC after that.
You can't even get
a draw.
You can't even get like Vancouver to stumble to second place, maybe.
Yeah.
You host them potentially. No, I don't believe they would have hosted Vancouver. Don't hold me to that. No, I think Vancouver was a higher seed, but maybe you can go to BC Place where Vancouver's not even that great at home, this season. Like they're actually a better road team on a lot of levels. But no, you got LAFC finishing second in the group, and
on the other hand, a few days ago on the LAFC side, I was looking days ahead to see who could be the possible opponents, and I was thinking about maybe a Monterrey LAFC match, and that how big that would have been. But no, I think LAFC got Austin FC at home. I think it's a pretty good the way that shook out for LAFC.
Yeah. Also, even if Austin FC is playing way better than Pumas or Monterrey, let's say they're actually playing better, they're a better team right now. You still know them. You're more familiar with them. It's easier to kind of get ready for the match like that. Their tendencies. Not to say it's an easier match, because maybe they're better than Pumas and Monterrey right now. So it might be a tougher, match on paper that way, but you're still more comfortable going into it. In a lot of ways, there's too many variables about haven't really played Monterrey a ton. Yes, we have played them, of course, but Pumas, same thing. Like you're more comfortable. Like, okay, come on, MLS side, come into our place. We'll take our chances. I think we'll be all right. So yeah, it's not an easy, task by any means, because you're taking on a team that has played well and is going to be very confident, but let's get it done. because I want to move
And now
on.
the winner
I want to win this
yeah, 'cause
stinking tournament.
the winner of this match day between LAFC and Austin FC would move on to play August 12th. That'd be the next round.
really?
It'd be the round of 16th, and that'd be against either San Jose or Necaxa.
Oh,
So that's an
interesting.
interesting one right there. So I like LAFC's chances against either one of those teams too, against San Jose or Necaxa, you know?
Yeah,
So, I mean,
absolutely.
LAFC is definitely a real contender for this, especially with the additions, you know, Luis O'Brien and Olivier Giroud. So let's keep it going.
Episode 25 must stop here, though, however. Unbelievable. We're a quarter of a century old here now in episodes, Mario, of LSC Plus. It's been a great
yeah.
show. It's been a great 25. Let's do more. Let's do 25 more. Let's do 250 more. And let's just keep it rolling here. Take us out here for LAFC Plus. Give us, again, where can people hear this match coming up? If you're not watching this show too late, Wednesday night, what's going on?
Yeah, Wednesday night, make sure you join us. LAFC versus Austin FC. Airtime for this one is going to be pregame show starting at 7 p.m. on 710 ESPN with kickoff a little after 7:30. Of course, Dave Denholm will be on the call, so make sure you tune in 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app. Right, Dave?
Right. Absolutely. Let's go LAFC. Let's get it done. Leagues Cup rolls on. This is LAFC Plus.